Hi, my name is Kim Akia, and welcome to my page, Akia. Thank you so much for tuning into another video. Hope you're having a wonderful day. So today's topic, and I actually might make this into a series because there's so much to unpack with this specific topic, and I feel like I have a lot of experience in this specific topic. So the topic is grief today, and you know, man, I there's so much to talk about pertaining to grief. My specialty is grief and losing a parent. I feel that. So let me back up a little bit. Why is grief something that is a major part of my life? At the age of 14, my father passed away very suddenly from stage 4 colon cancer, and it was very not expected at all. I believe he lived maybe a few weeks or a month after his diagnosis. It was such a quick demise, and I was 14 years old. I was a daddy's girl, very close to my father, and I just was not expecting that at all. I didn't really know what death was. Like most people, you don't really know what death is until you actually lose a loved one. And so at the age of 14, when I lost him, it literally completely flipped my life upside down. It changed who I was, my perspective, brain, my emotions, my mental. It really has and still affects every single area of my life. But now that I'm older and I have been healing and riding the wave of grief, I don't really let it overcome me. I don't let it rule my life. I still have a wonderful, abundant life that I have to live. I still am on my own life journey. So that took years and years and years for me to get to. But I guess in this video, what I want to talk about is, I guess I'm just going to talk about 3 things that help me get through my grieving process. Now, I also want to notate that I learned in therapy that grief is a journey, just like life is a journey. So there are 5 stages of grief. If I'm not mistaken, I think my therapist talked about the 5 stages of grief. And the thing about it is, like, you go through all in and out of those stages all throughout your life. So it's a journey. You're always going to be in some type of grief. Like, it may be a season where you're depressed. It may be a season where you're in shock and denial. So we're gonna always go through the different types of grief throughout our lifetime. And what I want to give you is, I've been on this grief journey now for, let's see, I can't even do math. I'm not good at math. 30 something years. I don't know. I'm so not good with math, and it's like late, so I don't know. Over 30 years, probably like 30 years. Yeah, like 30 years exactly. So about 29, 30 years I've been on this grief journey. And the one thing that I have learned is that my grief looks different from when I was a teenager to when I was in my 20s to when I was in my 30s. It looks different. That's one thing that I've learned. I also learned that my grief projected out in different ways in different areas of my life. Okay, like for example, there were times where I was angry that my father, was not here. And that anger projected out into men that I was dating or potentially dating, or just my perspective of men at the time, because I was really angry that my father was gone, and angry that he had died, and angry, for the situation of him not being here. But underneath the anger is really a sadness. And so the anger is just like the blanket that covers sadness. But I projected the anger out into the world. And again, that was just one way that it showed up. Looking back at my relationships, I was mean to guys. I was, the way that I talked to them. I cut them off quickly. I did not care. So that was just one way that it showed. It reared its ugly head. So grief does project itself out into different areas of, your life. My life, it did, and it still does. And I want to say the third thing that I've learned on my grief journey is that you're always growing. It's like, even though the grief is there, you're always growing and evolving as a person because you still have a life to live. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that you learn how to live your life with grief, if that makes sense. And it took me a long time to realize that I can live my life, and I have to live my life with grief, because grief is not going anywhere. And just learning how to do that and learning how to manage it at different times of your life, different seasons of your life. You may be triggered or going through something, maybe feeling a certain type of way, and the grief will pop up and rear its ugly head in this way or that way. And so just knowing how to manage it and knowing your triggers and knowing what you need to do to heal yourself, help yourself, I think that's really, really important. So again, I could talk about grief so much. Like, there's been so much. I have so much experience with dealing with this grief, like looking it in its face, not looking it in its face, running away from it, running towards it. So if you want more videos about grief, you want to talk about it, or if you have any questions about grief, definitely, please, reach out to me right in the comments below. And again, my grief specifically is, I feel like I connect more with people who have lost their father, because I lost my father. So that's where my grief stems from. But at the end of the day, if you lost your mother, your sister, your brother, your cousin, like, these are family members that you were close to and you truly love, like, it's still the same type of love. But when I see people, especially teenagers, that have lost their father, it really triggers me. It really triggers me, and I feel just this immense sorrow for them, because I know what that feels like, and I know what my journey has been like. My journey has not been easy. I don't vocalize to a lot of people the emotional and mental journey that I've been on my entire life, dealing with the grief of my father, because I just don't talk about it, because I just don't. I mean, I talk about it to my therapist, but I don't openly talk about it because I feel like people have their own lives, people have their own problems, and why would I dump this on you? That's what therapists are for. So yeah, I that really hits home when I see a teen or a child lose their father that they were really close. That just, when I tell you, it burns my heart. Whew. But with that being said, the one last thing I want to tell you is, if you are grieving, just know that you will be okay. I know it sounds cliche. But you will be okay. You will survive the pain. And a lot of people don't realize that grief, you actually can get physical pain from losing somebody, like mental, emotional, but you feel it physically, like your body hurt. It can turn into disease or disorder if you don't learn how to manage your grief and get your emotions out. Do not suppress your emotions. Do not suppress them. If you want to cry, cry. If you're in the middle of a room full of people and you want to cry, excuse yourself, go to the bathroom and cry. Do not hold your feelings, and your emotions have to be expressed. This is how diseases breed in our body. That's another important thing that I've learned on the journey. I don't want this video to be too long. I'll definitely come back and talk more about grief, because like I said, there's so much to talk about when it comes to grief, and I want people to know that you're not alone, and we're here for each other, and we will be okay. And let's help each other any way that we can, any way that I can help you. If you need any tips or advice, please reach out to me. I am more than happy to, share anything that I've learned that may help you. And if you have any tips or advice that might help me, because we can always use help. I can always use the help, okay? And advice. So please send it my way, all right? So be blessed. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. or day, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. And thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate that. Have a great day. Bye. Or night. Bye.